as a person who works on their own cars at home, one of the things you don't need to underestimate is how to do diagnostics. And as you can see here, I have an oscilloscope here, and this here is the Topdon Phoenix Scope. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the contents of the box, and then I'm gonna show you a few things, how to get it up and going, and how to make some measurements with it. So inside of that box I just showed you, you're gonna get two boxes. This box here, which is gonna actually have the scope in it. The second box is gonna have all these accessories right here, including the wire you connect it to the scan tool with. And they have a really good overview introductory pamphlet in here that kind of tells you everything, what to look for on the screen, and give you some examples of other things. So good job for them of putting some instructions in here that actually have some real value. This scope here works with their scan tools all the way from the I have the Phoenix Plus here, all the way from the Phoenix Max, I believe, all the way down to the Phoenix Lite or the Phoenix Lite 2. I'm not entirely for sure. So before I go any further, I just want to talk about one thing that I hope that they can improve in this situation, is that this scope right now only works with a scan tool. Now, it would be nice if they made some software to where you could use this, with a laptop or something like that. Because again, say if you wanted to have some oscilloscope measurements simultaneously with live data through the scan tool, you're not really able to do that or do that effectively. And say if if you decide to just switch scan tools for whatever reason, or say if you broke your scan tool or something, basically you won't be able to use this. You won't be able to use this oscilloscope. But again, the upside to them at the current time not having any PC software, it works with a wide range of that scan tool. So you don't have to buy like a $1,500 or $2,000 scan tool for this to work. You can buy, I forget how much the Phoenix Lite or the Phoenix Lite 2, I think that's around the $600 range, give or take. So you can get a nice, decent, more budget-friendly scan tool and still be able to use this oscilloscope. So eventually, I hope they come out with some PC software for this scope. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and take a look inside of this box and let's see what we got here. They give some really nice four pair. Before I go any further, this is a 4-channel scope, just so you know. We'll take a look at the scope here in a minute. I'll just show you what accessories look like first. This here, they give out 4 sets of these alligator clips. These are very nice quality clips, actually. Pretty good. So they give you 4 of these. They give you 2 oscilloscope leads. 2 BNC connector leads here. They're not that long. They're probably maybe 4 feet long or so. But again, you can get longer leads pretty cheaply. Like I think you get 10-foot leads for like $10 or $12 from Handtech that are really nice. I like this shorter lead. I'm glad they put this in here because sometimes you're in the hood of a car. You don't need to have 8 or 10 foot of lead. You just a few feet, enough to get the job done. Don't have a lot of stuff in the way. So these are really nice. They also put some 10-to-1 probes in here as well. They put 2 of these, as you can see. So these will come in handy. Say if you are doing a relative compression test and you're trying to get the firing order so you can know which cylinder has the issue, you would use this right here, for example, to tap into the number 1 cylinder, for example, so then you can know the firing order, and like whichever relative compression stroke is off, you can then make that diagnosis from that point. They give you a nice high quality set of back probes here, even with some ones that's interchangeable. Let's see, you can screw in and out. And one thing I wish they did here was probably put a couple of ones in here that was somewhat flexible. Or let me show you what else I got over here. Like I bought this kit right here off Amazon here. This is a very cheap kit by Hordsey. And as you can see, they have lots of different things in here. So for example, let me show you what I got in my little kit here. Something like that already got a beveled edge like this. But everything, because again, realistically, a lot of times you're gonna not be able to probe straight into stuff. And you may not want to bend these. You may want to keep them straight depending on whoever they are. And plus, these right here are very needle-like. If you take that, let me take it off. Let's see how needle-like that is. Those are very small, but they're not quite as needle-like as this here. So that could be something that could be improved as well. Also, something you might want to add to your arsenal that did not come in the kit. You may want to get some of these attenuators. I bought a pair of these attenuators. I think this is a 20-to-1. I think this pair was like $10 or something like that, very cheap. And you may also want to get a BNC to banana pin adapter, because, for example, I'll show you why. I have a amp clamp right here. As you can see, I got this low voltage amp clamp, and it has banana clip connectors on the end, which I bought this for the versatility that I can connect it to a multimeter, but I also can use this to plug these into this here and then connect it through the BNC connector to the oscilloscope and use this right here for a relative compression test, or maybe not a relative compression test, but some sort of amperage testing. Let's put it that way. All right, so the accessories, again, pretty decent selection of accessories that come with the scope. This here's the scope itself. The scope may look familiar to a lot of people. This green light here comes on when the scope is actually plugged in, lets you know it's powered. This looks just like the Think Car and the Launch actually makes a scope. And they're probably basically the own scope that just probably programmed to only work with specific scan tools. So, but again, I don't know that for sure either. But anyway, this might even work with a Launch. I'm not sure. Anyways, you can see this is the Phoenix Scope. Bandwidth 100 megahertz, sampling rate 1 gigasamples a second, which is pretty nice. 4 channels. Record length 50 million. Nice. And so each one is color coded here. This also has a I'm not sure what this is, a common ground or something like that. And I have to learn this scope because I haven't used it yet. But again, I've watched a few videos on it. I'm gonna go back and relook at those. But again, they're not hard to use at all. So anyway, and this is a plug that you connect it to the not laptop, but the scan tool with. So anyway, that's the form factor, just like Think Car or Launch's oscilloscope. Anyway, that's the contents of the package. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and set this up, and I'm going to do a relative compression test, and I'm gonna capture a signal from some other random sensor. I don't know which one under the hood here just yet. So anyway, you'll get to see how to set this up, how this works. And also we'll talk a little bit about the software and do a little bit of exploration on that, and that'll be coming up next. All right, so I'm back here with the scope, and as you can see, the scope right here is connected straight to my Phoenix Plus here via this USB port, and then outside of the back of the scope, channel 1, I have an amp clamp coming out here, and this is just a Handtech 650 amp clamp, and I have it set to 1 millivolt equals 1 amp. This thing is polarity sensitive, so when you I use the negative battery terminal. So whichever battery terminal you use, just make sure you face the amp clamp in the appropriate direction. I know in my case, I can face it like this. I just make sure everything is nice and up there tight, and you can leave it laying like this, and that's all you need to do for this. You can, however, use 2 channels for this test. I'm not gonna do that here today, but you might wanna see which is cylinder 1, for example, so you can know what the firing order is, and so you can tease out, it'll make it easy to tease out which cylinder is the issue. All right, so let me set the camera down here, and what I'm gonna do, normally I do an overlay with these types of videos, but I am going to bring this up a little closer here, and I'm going to talk about how to set this up. And what I'm gonna do here is that the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk through just a few things. Now, as far as the menu wise, I'm not really gonna go through the menu. So Mechanic Mindset has the best video for this scope. Now, Mechanic Mindset, that's gonna be linked below, and I should have popped up something on the screen already. He shows the Think Car version of this scope, but it's the exact same, and the software is the exact same. There's not many videos of real usage of this scope on YouTube, and I plan to change that. So, and also this scope, when you first start learning it, is the learning curve is a bit higher than some scopes I've used in the past. Like I have a Handtech 1008C and I also have a Pico Scope 2204. But being that this is touchscreen oriented for a scan tool, that's probably why it's a bit different. So anyway, I plan to help as much as I can to facilitate you getting into this scope so to make it easier for you. So being that we're going to do a relative compression test, now you want to set up everything correctly. One thing you could do, again, this is the only menu I'm going to really try to dive into just a bit. If you go over here to automotive, you can, let's see here, they got different tests up here you can pick. Like for example, I'm on relative compression test. Now, the way they have these presets, you might want to change them. These presets are just good if you're just getting into scoping or if you're just trying to get used to this tool and you just want to go ahead and just get a setting and use it so you can capture some data and then analyze it so you can just get familiar with just doing that part there. So they have circuits, sensors, actuators, ignition networks, and combinations, for example. So we're just going to back out and I'll show you what I got set up here. I have 500 down here at the bottom of the screen right here, 500 milliseconds per division. You can just click these right here to change that on each side. You can change that to whatever you want, or you can just click the time and up pops a screen. You can just pick, I'm gonna go back to 500 milliseconds just like that. On the side with the amps here, I find that for this test about 100 amps or so is good enough. Maybe even 50 is just fine, but you can sort of pinch it and let's see here. Yeah, you can pinch it and zoom it however you want. You can do it that way, you know, or you could just over here, you can kind of just use this right here to go up and down with these buttons right here. So for example, this is about a setting, maybe I'll go up a little bit higher. About this setting right here is what I use. That's about 100 amps, because this is minus 14 amps going up to 80, so that's a 100 amp spread. So what we're gonna do here is, let's go into, let me see here. I've already told you about, the trigger. This is the other important part. So what you want to do now is go to your trigger and make sure you have it set. In this case, I'm only using one channel, so have your trigger set correctly. And in this case, make sure that you have it set to edge. And I think I've done rise and fall, and they both look pretty similar to me. So not that big of a deal, whichever one you want to use. Coupling is obviously DC, so that's already set. So just make sure you set this trigger. Now, one other thing you want to do right here where it says single seek, that means single sequence. So that kind of captures a sequence and keeps it on the screen because, like I said, I'm learning this scope. So what I can tell so far is anything that goes off the screen, you can't kind of scroll back like on the Pico and kind of look at it, what went off the screen. So, but anyway, you can get around it. The scope is still quite useful. And again, the learning curve is a bit higher, and I hope to facilitate you learning with this scope. So now, now if you hit single sequence, you're gonna see that it says it's waiting. You see it turned yellow, it said wait. All right, so we're gonna set this down. Now, if you notice right here where it says wait, I'm gonna open my car door, and if I open my car door, I think my car should be asleep. If I open it, it's gonna wake up, and a jolt of electricity is going to go to some components, and it's going to wake up the car, and some amperes should run through my negative terminal, and it's going to capture that. This is just to show you the basic premise before I actually capture the relative compression test. So I open this up, and that should be, let's see, did that work? That did not work. Okay, let's try it again. Maybe because my car is not asleep. Not entirely for sure. Hold on, wait a minute. I forgot, maybe it wasn't on run. Yeah, I go to singles. That's right, it wasn't on run when I did it, so now my car is asleep. It probably won't do it. Let's see here. Yeah, it won't do it now because the car is off. I just woke it up. So anyway, being that you see that we have the single seek in position and ready to go, I'm gonna set this down. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get in the car real quick because I'm in a GM, and I think a lot of cars have this clear flood mode where you can just hold down the gas and it'll keep the injectors from working, so therefore you can just turn the car over without starting it up. So let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. All right. So let's see. I don't know what this, maybe my setting's off because I'm supposed to see something right now. Let's see here. Yeah, something, yeah, as you can see, I don't have some setting here, right? Let me make sure. Oh, that's why, 100 nanoseconds. No wonder. So let's go back to 500 milliseconds. Okay, sorry about that, guy. So, and I got the amperes down. Let me lift the amperes back up in here. Yeah, as you can see, I'm working with the amperes right here. I just had my setting off. I must have, when I thought I clicked 500 milliseconds, I clicked 100 nanoseconds. So as you can see now, there's nothing on the screen. So I'm gonna get back in the car and do that again. That was kind of funny, actually. And to do this clear flood mode again. Oh, I just woke the car up. So there's the example that you saw that I was trying to get a while ago. I woke the car up. And as you can see, that the trigger captured that and kept it on the screen. So to get rid of that and to capture the real relative compression that we want, just click single seek again. And as you can see, it says wait. It says, let me make that closer here. That says wait again over here. And then you get in the car and you do your clear flood mode and you'll get that relative compression. So we're gonna go ahead and do that real quick. All right, there we go. All right, so I almost just cut the car on by accident. But as you can see, we got a nice relative compression waveform here. And you actually can just pinch a little bit and zoom a little bit, and you can scroll back and forth with it and just bring it in the middle of the screen like this. See how I'm just using my fingers to kind of move it around a little bit. And you can also now change your time base. Let's go say to 2. That's 1 second, I believe, yeah. 2, and then, in other words, you can just figure out which pattern makes the most sense for you. You can go over here and manipulate your amperes this way. So this right here looks good for me. Looks pretty good to me. So you can kind of see that all of my waves are pretty equal. So my relative compression test, for the purpose of this video, is showing good results. So what you want to do now, another thing you could do, because sometimes these things can get tricky. They can be very close and you can't tell. So if you go to cursor right here, you take these 2 horizontal cursors, as you see right here. You click that. Let's see here. You click that. Whoop, and you see a yellow line, 2 yellow line popped up. So when you highlight one, you pull it to whatever position you want, and you take the other one and you can pull it to the top, and you can kind of see how close they are to one another, or look at the delta Y, which would be the delta amperage here, for example. Also, if you want to do time base, you can click the cursor here with the 2 lines right here. There's the two horizontal ones, and you can say measure the time in between 2 different events, for example, to measure that time and that delta time if you choose. There's another thing here I'm gonna show you, even though it has nothing to do with this. I just want to show it since I'm talking about cursors right now. You see these 3 lines right here that does not say cursor, but it's 3 lines. If you click that, you can now put in the number of cylinders of the car and put the angle in. So more than likely, you're gonna have 720. Say if you're looking at, say, some timing or something like that, for example, you can do that right here. So just wanted to point that out. Even though we're not doing that, that's gonna be in a future video. I'm gonna make a cam crank correlation video with the scope. So there you have it. There is the reference. Oh, hold on. That's another thing. I forgot about that, saving the reference. But anyway, this is the scope capture here. This is how you capture it. Looks really good. Now, if you want to save this sample, you can click save, or you can just click quick save. So we're going to just click quick save, and it says wave whatever saved. So now if you hit these 2 down arrows right here, you see this little menu pop up here, and you just save that reference for me. You can recall it and take a look at it. Use it as a reference, or you can recall it to analyze it, whichever is up to you. So we click reference right here. As you see, nothing is on yet. Like for example, if I click, let's click the second one here, R2, because you got 4 references here you can open at once. So we just did, I believe it was this one, was it this one? Let me look at the time on them. I think it was this one here. And we click this, and now it's highlighted purple. And now as you see, my waveform is it my reference is exactly on the screen because it's really overlaying the waveform that I just saved that from, so it makes sense that they look identical. But you can actually just take your finger, scroll up and down, and you can take these things and kind of use them against each other. Let's see here. If you take this one right here, this reference. Whoop, wait a minute, let's go back. How did that happen? Oh, let me go back here. Give me a second here, y'all. Sorry about that. I don't know what just happened right there. Anyway, yeah, we're back. So anyway, the actual scope capture I had is gone now, but you still can see the reference. Anyway, you can move it. What I was trying to show you is that you can move the reference up and down, and if you have a waveform you're comparing it to against this reference, you can kind of just line them up or move them up and down so you can see whatever you want to see in terms of comparison between that reference and the actual waveform you captured. And so now I have me a reference waveform saved to this scan tool. So if I ever have a problem with my car cylinders, if I run my relative compression test and it looks vastly different than this, then I'll know that, hey, I really do have a cylinder problem because I have a reference form from my vehicle now. So there's that. So anyway, I hope this helped you out. We're about to jump under the hood. We're going to capture the voltage from some component. I don't know which one just yet. And I'll see you guys in a few minutes. All right, so as you can see, I'm back at I'm under the hood now, and I have the car running. I got my scope still connected to my scan tool here, and I actually got a lead running over to my battery negative. Let's see right here, if I can go over here. We'll zoom it out over here. It's to my battery negative here. It's going all the way over there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the frequency of the mass airflow sensor. And I think because this is an automotive scope, let me probe this right quick as I go in right here. See if I can show you this right quick in the dark a little bit. Just probe that right there. And there we have it. Yeah, there we have it, just like that. Hold on, let me push it in a little tighter. Yeah, there's a, wait a minute. Let me shove that in there another kind of way. Gotta be careful when you do this. You don't want to mess your pins up here. See if I can. All right, there we go. That should be good. Now, as you can see, I'm set up here at 2 milliseconds here. Again, you can change this just by simply clicking this. Change your time base as much as you want. And if you want to change your volts, you can kind of pinch it and zoom it a little bit with your hand, or you can use these buttons right here as well. So what I was going to say, because this is an automotive scope, I think it might be a way to convert this frequency signal into an analog signal so you can see a curve like when you hit the gas and all of that. So that's not going to be part of this video because I have to learn this scope. Actually, this is the first quote-unquote automotive scope I've owned. I've owned a peak on a Handtech. While I think the Handtech says it's an automotive scope, of course it doesn't have the features like Pico scope have. And maybe even this scope here, I'm assuming, because this right here was like a $500 scope, so I'm assuming this scope here has a lot more capability. So anyway, I just wanted to show you just how to hook that up, just to show you how clean the waveforms would look like, and that this thing is actually a pretty good scope. And I hope this video helps some of you guys out. If you got any questions, let me know. And definitely there'll be more videos coming in the very near future with this scope, because I'm back now to scoping. And I'm also getting a U scope very soon. And once I get that, there's definitely going to be some videos on that. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next one.